Welcome to the Marketing Meeting podcast. Today, Massimo Giunco is joining me again. He is the brand strategist. He worked at 25 years at Nike at various communication leadership roles, including marketing, brand. And he is the person who got me into marketing. He was my first marketing boss. So we are here today to discuss a bit about what happened in 2024 and his predictions, takes on 2025. Welcome, Massimo.
Thank you, Itir, and thank you for the opportunity. It is always a pleasure, and you know that I cannot say no to you, so that's why I'm here.
And I'm using it almost every year because last year you were in my podcast, and this year, just before the year ends, I try to squeeze in some time, trying to convince you with it's going to be a very short podcast. So, Massimo, I want to ask you about, first of all, what went wrong in 2024 for brands and marketing?
Okay. I don't want to sound negative. Also, I have a reputation to be a bit pessimistic about the state of marketing. Actually, in 2024, nothing went really wrong, in the sense that I haven't seen positive or negative changes versus the past. The key point is that the digital marketing domination is still there. Digital marketing is too big to fail and too big to be changed. And even in my humble consultancy job, I talked to several brands, several clients, and it's there. It's given for granted. And they have a very weird interpretation of what a brand can do and what a company can do for the brand. And so that's why then we are always talking about the same stuff, a bit of social media, a bit of digital marketing, a bit of SEO, a bit of e-commerce, and that's marketing for them. And if they are happy about that, I'm happy too, as long as they don't complain because they don't grow anymore, or they have some poor return in terms of business. That's one thing. The second thing that that is very connected to that is the data tragedy, in the sense that the data extraction is from people is more and more intrusive. And I was thinking about that when I think it was about 4 weeks ago, Google announced the new version of their Google Nest product for the home security. And then I was thinking, why the hell they are so interested in protecting us in our homes and installing all these cameras and sensors. And then it's a new frontier of data extraction for them. So they've done it on everything. They've done it on the web, tracking everything that we do, and then with Google Maps, tracking every street of our planet, and tracking where we go, where we stop, how many hours we are in the car. And now they want to do it in our home. They want to enter our home to see how many people we see, how we live, what time we eat, at what time we go to sleep, our furniture. And no one is stopping this. This thing is the real issue that is beyond marketing, but they are using all of it for marketing at the end, because then they are transforming all of this in data so they can sell more keywords, more programmatic advertising through their platform to grow their revenue. That's if we have to say what went wrong, this is very wrong, and it has to change. But it will not change because, again, there are all the data industry is too big, is too powerful, is too rich. And it's quite difficult to imagine something else. Stop tracking is something that is very easy to achieve, but is impossible to implement.
Mhm, mhm.
And then the last thing that I see that make me smile because of the fact that there is a kind of general misunderstanding of the marketing fundamental is that too many, especially in the world of fashion, are playing with the price in a suicidal way, And
Can you repeat that again? You mean the playing with the price?
yeah, product, price,
Okay.
placement, one of the 4 Ps of and the price thing is in the world of fashion is managed in a very weird way, and it's so on the luxury side right now they have increased price 3 times, almost 4 times over the last 5 years, Okay. And but then they complain because the business is not going so well. Thank you very much. It's mathematics, And on the other side of the spectrum, when you go into the mass market, the fast fashion, they are doing just the opposite game, and then they take every opportunity, the Black Friday, the sales, and where to squeeze the price,
Mhm.
and then they complain because they have a problem with profitability and margin. Okay. And in both cases, the business model doesn't let them manage inventory, the production level, a decent sell-through, and the management of the inventory. And so things are getting worse. And this is something that struck me all the time, on that side.
Mhm. And thinking about 2025 with the trend that you have been mentioning, what are the expectations from not the expectations? What do you think will continue to happen in the next year? Although I mean, 1 year is actually a short period of time. It doesn't change massive things most of the time. It's like a trend. But what do you see the trend shifting towards to?
Honestly, okay, although I'm an old guy, not a boomer, but very close to be a boomer, and I don't think anything will change on what we were talking about. I think generative AI, that's the year where we will see, because we are already watching it. I'm personally watching the progress that he's making, especially on the visual side. I was in Finland 4 weeks ago, and I met a couple of startups. Finland is one of the European countries with the most developed software business. And I saw, and I was introduced to 2 platforms, AI platforms. One from a visual perspective
Mhm.
that is by far more advanced of what we can see and find on the web right now. And it's impressive the ability of this platform to develop and to create and to combine inputs from what is in the stock, what you give to them, in order to, at the end, execute assets of several formats in a very easy way, but also very, very close to a professional form. And this is something that made me think a lot around the potential of transformation, because this is not 10 years, this is today. It's ready, it's there. And also the input that you can give to the platform are very serious, in terms of positioning, in terms of quality, filters. And at the end, when you consider that 95% of the assets you produce in the for any brand digital ecosystem, between social, own channel, is basic stuff that doesn't need to be revolutionary or of drive, but is just done because you need to fill the space. These kind of tools are able to do it at 1/10 of the cost, and without using all the professional services that you usually recruit to organize and produce all these assets. And that's something that may change a lot the way of working of marketing team and the marketing industry overall. That's quite impressive, honestly. And already now.
I would like to ask you one thing over there, because I have a conflicting idea for generative AI. I'm also watching, so we don't know what's going to happen. But, 20 years ago when we were doing marketing, we were producing, for example, 5 different formats of assets for one campaign. Now we have increased to like almost 50, 100 types of assets across all platforms, thinking about like every 2 days, we're going to have a new creative targeting to a new audience and so on. So there has been a very big shift from how we produce content. So lately we have seen so many content creators and creative directors working on creating new assets. However, I'm just questioning if the humanity needs that much of assets. Because generative AI will be producing them overall, and then we'll be seeing so many assets. And do we need more? And I'm just thinking, is it the time for less is more? Because
I totally agree. So I would divide the answer. On one side, today, every brand, every company has, right or wrong, a digital ecosystem that is very complex and fragmented, and they need to feed it. Okay. And this is why they spend a fortune in production for all the assets that they need to feed this monster. Okay. And on this side, generative AI can be a solution to produce faster, cheaper, even better in many cases, and to meet the expectation of this ecosystem. Okay. On the other side, we know exactly that this is wrong, doesn't bring anywhere, doesn't help you to grow your brand, or, as I said, 95% of these assets are commodity that you need because you need to have a picture, you need to have a post, you need to, and so on. I totally align with you. Less is more. But if you don't want to have less, and you don't want to spend half of your budget in producing assets that are useless, and eroding more and more the budget for to buy media and increase your reach, that can be a solution.
Because the more and more I hear from the founders and all the other marketers is like they want to focus and they want to declutter. Like instead of, so that's what I see. Like instead of having 100 assets per campaign, why do we go back to not 5 like we did before? Maybe like meet at the front at a 10 and then maybe make them quality, because human eye and also ear can easily identify an AI produced asset, and everything will start looking very nice and very beautiful. And everything will start to, that's what I feel, everything will start to look so similar, and we would recognize that it's AI created. So I'm just in the mindset that it's time for creativity to come back again.
I totally agree. But those are two different problems. When you have these billions of contents posted every day, it's not that human eyes can recognize AI. Human eyes will not watch them anymore, in any case. But they need to produce them because they have their own platform and their own universe of digital marketing. Okay, that's their problem. If they don't want to adjust it, it's fine. Then, totally agree. There is still a massive need for creativity, genius, and distinctivity, and to create something spectacular, able to catch your attention, generate memories, and raise the brain and raise the memory in your brain. Okay, I mean, this is not a dilemma. It's the problem of marketing over the last 15 years, and why the performance of marketing is declining, and why brands are not doing well. And that's too long of a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing, and again, this is not a prediction, but it's also based on when we think about ChatGPT,
Okay.
And I like to use ChatGPT more and more often, not for business reasons, but for my very, very obvious day-by-day things. Or at the beginning, I was making comparison, and then I see that it's much better than Google search. Much better. And then, so I was talking to a few friends and also some more intelligent people than me around the fact that the problem of OpenAI is that they still don't have a business model. So they are collecting billions of dollars to improve their products, but they still don't have a business model. The subscription model of ChatGPT, it doesn't generate only a marginal fraction of what they need.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not be surprised if they will enter the world of digital advertising and become a competitor of Google. And if it happens, and this is why, honestly, they are now on the iPhone, and they are entering the consumer mass market to drive a bit of attention and also confidence and familiarity with this. And if they enter, and there can be probably a little bit of earthquake in the world of the digital advertising, because the status quo may change quite dramatically. And that's it's not even a prediction. It's just an observation as a boomer that is using ChatGPT to find the best restaurant in the place where I visit.
Even for the best restaurant, you're asking.
Yeah. And it's fun. It's fun.
I'm already surprised that they haven't entered. I mean, like a year ago, I was already thinking that we're going to soon see ads, and then how brands going to adjust to that. You have to make sure that your website is, readable, and the OpenAI bots can crawl it and so on. Those type of things were in my mind. But probably they are still collecting the dollars and trying to make a business model out of it. And I'll cut your word. Yesterday, I was reading an article about SEO and how Google's AI search, also when you go to Google, there's an AI search that's presented to you, how it's reduced the amount of website visits. Because since you search it and you're just like having a summary, you don't need to go to the websites to get the data. So it's also changing a lot of things. I think we're going to watch a lot. Okay, so what else for 2025?
I don't know. I want to take it with calm and peace, and I've been too committed to change the world, and honestly, I don't think I will be able to do that. I totally understand that we live in a world that is falling apart, and that marketing has played a role in that. We want or we don't want. And at a certain moment of my life over the last years, I was thinking that marketing has the possibility to do the opposite, to reverse this, as we were able to change the behavior of billions of people to buy chocolate even when we don't want. Maybe we can do the same to buy renewable energy even if we don't want. It's every time I come close to a conclusion, then I discover something else. So, okay, I need to start again. And I think I will never find the real solution. But I still see the potential of the ability of marketing, of the aggregate community of marketeers to opt for the common good instead of the common bad. But then I also understand that the everyday life, when you have clients or you work for a brand and you need to you do your job, that's not easy. And so it's I struggle to find the real solution to that. There are more and more books right now around sustainable marketing. And but all of them starting implying that the company we work with or we work for, they are changing, from profit to profit, people, and planet. But we see the reality is that the 95% of the companies are still profit driven, and they don't want to hear people and planet at all. And so it's not how can people working there change, when all the financial system, the political system, they care less than they say. And that's the biggest dilemma, So it is true that marketing cannot transform the goal of a company into something that is more sustainable, more open to justice. But it's also true that marketing is crucial to help people to change behavior. And right now, we don't know for which behavior they should go and choose. So that's the dilemma of 2025 and 2066 and over the next 30 years. In the meantime, we will, we have to observe things that are not pleasant and they are not giving hope and optimism.
As much as I, spend time on social media or watching news and so on, I recognize that people like you, who has extensive knowledge and who can teach new generations more about how to do marketing, what are the things that a marketer should stand behind, and so on. The people like you are staying away from social media, whereas you should step in to talk more. Well, I mean, we know that when you talk and step in and talk more, it creates a ripple effect. That's what happened in 2024 with one of your posts, and probably that's the one and only post that you had. But intellectually, we feel that we just want to don't deal with it, which I feel is not the right approach. That's why I wanted to have you at this episode, so that because I think people need to hear from people like you that has extensive knowledge and that can really help and guide a new young marketer who cannot stand up and think differently. That's why I think I know that predictions are not like, we don't need to talk about tactical predictions, because I already have like so many tactical predictions, like short form content will not be so popular or so on and so on. But I think the prediction is that marketing changed the world, but does the marketers know and behave with that in mind?
Yeah, it's very true. I'm thinking about what can be the best platform, not for me to talk about it, but there are many people that are much more prepared and stronger than me that can definitely help, to create a new generation of marketeer. And the new generation of marketeer will clash against the wall of the corporate world if this world doesn't change, and if this world doesn't want to change. And so this is where, at the same time, I'm already talking to some universities and to understand what can be done, at least to expand the marketing program of those universities. And to include, a few hours discussing about that, or integrate what they already teach around behavioral marketing, or around, strategies, or even the sustainable marketing operation in itself. Okay, definitely we can start also from the students, because they are the one that will be in charge very soon to play marketing. I haven't found yet the way to do it, but don't expect me to write anything else on
But that's
social
the issue,
media.
I think, with marketing. Massimo, you are the expert in marketing, which I would love to hear your thoughts on. But you and people like you are staying a bit, like a lot of people like you, not every people, but a lot of people like you are staying away from social media because of some certain reasons. But then it means that some of the thought leadership is definitely not on digital marketing. There should be another, maybe it's not on the universities or courses or whatever, but there is a new, probably people will start to seek to get the thoughts of people like Massimo through some other channels, not through some digital channels only. Because digital will start to get mediocre, mass, all the same, average content. Whereas getting to really expert content will get harder and harder to reach. Like you living, not doing any posts and not sharing anything. How can people learn from you, right? That's, I think, an insight for the coming years ahead. Where do we find the expertise? And that expertise may not be living in the walls, in the gardens of www, World Wide Web. So yeah, with that,
thank you for your trust.
With that, thanks so much for joining me. I know that it's a short one, but I think for listeners who would understand that there are some really important parts that can be taken from. Thanks so much, Massimo.
No, thank you, Edith. Thank you for the trust and thank you for your nice word. I'm still nobody, so that's why I don't think my voice is relevant. I thank you for your very important, at least to me, comments. And thank you for everything you do. Ciao.
Thank you.